Today I'm going to talk about a thought experiment which is similar to the brain in a vat, but which cuts much deeper. At least it does for me. And that is the neuron in a vat thought experiment. We're all familiar with brain in a vat. That just goes to make us question our knowledge of the world. We can't be absolutely sure that we're in a body, moving around in the world and interacting. It could all be supplied to the brain in some fake way, right? Okay. That doesn't really make you question physicalism itself. It's just about epistemology, right? But suppose you are neurons in rats. So that is also allowed by the laws of physics. You can help yourself to all the substrate to support each individual neuron. You can have 100 billion jars or more if you need more cells too. Whatever it takes to have all the neurons in your brain right now be stimulated in the same way they are inside your head right now. Okay, let's say they can be spread out over North America or something. We're not going to go to relativistic distances, but they can be spread far apart. And you could have many people existing this way in jars, interspersed throughout a continent, right? It's not against the laws of physics. So, what would happen if at this moment you are, in fact, or your neurons exist that way and they are stimulated in exactly the same way as they are in your brain right now? It would seem that you should feel exactly the same as you feel right now, because physicalism doesn't give us any different fact of the matter, right? Except the distance between the neurons, but that could be taken care of by other communications, like use 5G or something, or 6G if it takes more. In principle, that could all be done. But this brings up the question, what is uniting all these independent neurons who are stimulated in this way? What unites them all into one identity, one person experiencing yourself as one? And it just seems like physicalism doesn't have an answer to that. It can't tell us why we should have that experience, and how should the neurons know that they are connected and not just experiencing an identical stimulation that is not actually connected to all those others. So that's the binding problem, right? Well, it just seems to me there's no solution to that inside physicalism. You just can't explain it. So it seems you just have to throw out the entire physicalist metaphysical theory. It can't be that the brain is causing you to have experiences anyway. It just doesn't seem like a plausible explanation. The brain is not fundamental or more fundamental than your consciousness. It's just coincidentally manifesting itself. Kind of like you're playing a video game and you have an avatar who sure enough has a brain that you can see there, but the brain is not causing anything. It's just along for the ride. And then you can use that analogy to understand that if you have that brain on your screen split up into individual neurons, and just imagine you have a really big screen the size of a continent, and those neurons are spread out and doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, sure, that could be accounted for by the loss of a video game, right? And it would be analogous to our neurons being able to do that by the laws of physics. So I just can't reconcile physicalism with consciousness anymore after thinking about that thought experiment. The neurons in a vat, in rats. So I'm just forced to become a non-dualist. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying this is pretty strong arguments that you just give up the physicalist theory of metaphysics. I mean, of ontology, of well, that is a metaphysical theory, right? You know you have consciousness, that you know that's more immediate anyway. So if you were to take that fact seriously, the physical stuff should be less plausible, just on the face of it. But it so happens that we believe very strongly that our brains are responsible for our feelings, that they arise out of those neurons firing together. But now I understand that that firing together isn't really, it's not fundamentally connected anyway, because the same effect could be achieved by just having one neuron in a vat, or whatever substrate it takes, to experience the same things that it experiences in your head right now. I don't see a reason why those dispersed neurons should be any less able to bring about your experience, and I also don't see how they should be able to, especially when you have other people in the world with their neurons also going about there. What is bringing that one consciousness together? You can have an ongoing sense of self. It just it doesn't compute in physicalist terms. So now I am extremely skeptical, at least, about the brain causing anything in your consciousness. It's probably the other way around. Consciousness is causing your brain, or something else behind there that we don't observe, since all we have to observe is this physical stuff. Of course, I still believe the best way to manipulate my consciousness, for example, if I have a headache, that is to take a pain reliever that works on my brain to all appearances. I'm still going to do that, but I don't believe it actually has any causal effect. I believe it's an icon, a representation of something that's not actually causally causing consciousness, because it's not accounted for by even by something like panpsychism doesn't account for this. You can be a panpsychist and still not have a clue why those neurons should create one consciousness when they are dispersed. So that's how I became a non-dualist, or how I became like past 50% sure that idealism, metaphysical idealism, some kind of that is more likely to be true than physicalism.